Hey everyone, it's Willis from White Rabbit Comics, and we're doing a spooky edition of the comic book review. So, the one that we're going to go over, the spooky part of the comic book review, is a book that I've been wanting to get to for a while. I've read it, I finished reading it over the weekend. It's a trade. The one that we're going to talk about today is a trade. It's a thicker book. I think it's like 126 pages, 136 pages, something along those lines. But my goodness, is it good? And this goes to one of my deepest issues, fears, hatred. I don't know if you what you want to call it. Thing that I talk to therapists about. Vicious Circus. This one is from Inverse Press, which is a smaller comic book company. Um, they're going to have another book out that I'm going to talk about, the Last Ride of the Four Horsemen. That wait to see a video about those issues. Now, the Vicious Circus, the one that I'm looking at, this one here, this is the trade version of it. This gives you every issue in one. That's some people love trades, some people hate them. It really depends on the person. Now, with the trade, recently the writer, the owner of Inverse Press, put all the issues on Kickstarter. So they did the single issues, all 6 of them. They put them on Kickstarter, and it was very successful for him. And this one was a Kickstarter as well, but the trade version, which came out before the single issues, I believe, because sometimes writers and artists will make more money off the trades because that's where a lot of people want to go, especially with independents. So, getting to the book. I can't stand clowns. And this one, as you can see from the front cover, as well as the back cover, is all about clowns. The Vicious Circus. Now, even though I have issues with clowns, and some they're supposed to make kids happy, and some people do just make them rage. But that's time for therapist talk later. But the Vicious Circus, it's kind of a twist. So part of it, when I first picked it up, I thought it was going to be sort of sci-fi horror with aliens, and the clowns being aliens, sort of like Attack of the Killer Clowns, if you remember that nice campy 80s horror film. And I heard they're going to do a part 2 on that, and I think that's just going to ruin it. But still, I loved that movie when I was a kid, and still enjoy watching it. So I thought this was going to be more along that lines. Now, the difference here is in the Vicious Circus, and I'm not really giving anything away because you can see the clowns there with a child, the one that's in the just the hoodie and the mask there. They're not there to hurt the kids. And that's, I think, an interesting take on it. And as you get towards the end of the book, you'll see that twist even turns a little bit more. But the clowns only attack people that are bad to kids. So, sort of the abusers, the pedophiles and those types, they go after them. They're actually there to save the kids, even though they're scary as crap. They're still there to protect and help the kids, and I think that's a very, very interesting take on a horror book, especially one that is geared with kids in mind. No, this is not intended for kids to read. In fact, I would not recommend this for anybody under 15. There is a lot of violence in it. There's a lot of adult content. There's no sexual material. There's no I don't even want to say there's a lot of blood and gore, although there is implied blood and gore. A lot of people do die, but it's not like overt. But the content, especially when I'm talking about who the clowns go after, and that adult mentality, I would not give this anybody underneath 15. So even though they're helping kids, again, don't give this book to anybody young. So the rabbit reader rating is like weird Donnie Darko type rabbit reader level on this one. This gets into some dark topics, especially when we're saying why the clowns are helping the kids out. So I love the book. It's a meaty read. I read it over the weekend. I split it up multiple sittings, just like you would if you're sitting down to read 6 comics. Some people like Netflix, they love to binge it. Really, that's the idea of a trade. You're binging comic books. I, for one, don't digest them that quickly. I like to take my time with it, so I was actually reading this on and off with other books. So I really, really like this book. In fact, this is not a copy to sell. This is my copy. So when I say that I like this book, I'm saying this is going into this copy of it is going into my personal collection. And I think that's as good of a recommendation as anybody that owns a comic book shop or that sells comic books can actually give. If they could say a book is going into their personal collection, that's as high of a recommendation as you can actually get. Yes, I do have some copies for sale. In fact, the link for those are below in the description if you're interested in picking up a copy of Vicious Circus. But this one's all mine. This one's staying with me. I think that is the highest recommendation. Is the book is so good that I have to keep a copy for myself in my personal collection. So go out and try to get a copy. If you can't, well, you probably won't see it in your local stores because Inverse Press is one of those very, very small publishers. It's not in a whole lot of stores. It just had its successful Kickstarter, so you might be able to find it there. You can go to inversepress.com to get a copy, or again, the description below. So try to find a copy. I highly, highly recommend this. This is one of the best reads I've had in a little while. Plus, it's a topic that the clowns, they get me, man. But I enjoyed this just as much as I liked Attack of the Killer Clowns from the 80s. So with that, go grab yourself a copy of The Vicious Circus. I can't recommend it more than saying this is my copy and you're not getting it. And I will see you at the comic book shop.